I'm Nick Willis. I'm a Senate Research Intern for the Health and Human Services Committee. I heard about the internship. I don't even remember really how I heard about it. I think one of my professors told me about it. I was thinking about moving away from looking into being a practitioner in medicine to working in policy after a policy class that I really liked. And someone mentioned this internship to me that I should apply for it. And that's how I heard about it. So the selection process to be an intern is that you have to be interviewed by a group of different analysts and different people who work down at the Senate and the House. And there's about 15 people from the House and from the Senate, and they just ask you questions for about 15 minutes, like your strengths and weaknesses, a portion of policy that you think you can improve, things like that. And so after they ask you those questions, you leave, and then they kind of debated who got selected, and from there you were put into a secondary application pool where you came down to the Senate. So I came down to the Senate, and then they had us do a writing sample test, a reading comprehension test where they had us read a piece of legislation and then do a summary on it, and then also another 15-minute interview with more intense questions, but not with 15 people, but with 30 people, just asking random questions, trying to put pressure on you and see how you are under pressure and what answers you had. And then from there, they kind of did bids to see where you'd be, and then I was selected to be an intern. Our day-to-day, I come in at 8, I leave at 5, and so during that time, I'm just mainly prioritizing what tasks are next. Our whole week revolves around committee meetings, where there's 7 to 9 senators based on which committee you're part of. And our goal is to create these fact sheets that we present to the senators that help give transparency to the public and the senators on what each piece of legislation will do. And so our bread and butter are the fact sheets. So that's mostly what I'm working on. But there's also different things, like every state agency has like directors and other people who are publicly appointed by the governor. And so there's these executive nominations where we do research into them to make sure that their resumes are actually factual. And so we work on those. Every person who's part of an interest group wants to get the eye of a legislator so that they can advocate for their group and try to get legislation passed. And so groups will come down here and they'll set up tents with information on their groups, give you free lunch, try to make connections. And so that's mostly what happens on these lawns. Also, sometimes there's occasionally protests or other civil things like that. My internship has helped me understand far more in depth than any classroom or any other setting the legislative process and the importance of that process. And I've appreciated more how a bill becomes a law. I've appreciated more what the senators and the representatives do. Usually when you're kind of have some distance from it, it seems like this far off thing. And it's really brought a concrete realization that everyday people really can make a difference and really can shape the world that we live in. Sometimes it's really easy to be apathetic, especially with everything that's going on in the world. But I feel like this internship has helped me understand that that's not necessary and that we can make a change and we can make a better future altogether.